Hello there, I'm Nige. This is Pure Coys, and yes, I am recording. This is the Nige and Chonk show. Welcome to episode 2. We really should have got episode 2 in a long time ago, but holidays, work commitments, birthdays, that kind of thing has kind of stopped us in our tracks. But we are here for episode 2 now, and I want to welcome someone very special to my heart, my son, Charlie. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How you doing? You all right?
I'm very well. Every time you say that, you sound more and more Wiltshire every time.
Yeah, well, you've got to embrace it, haven't you? You've got to embrace it. I find when I speak on shows, it comes out a lot. Whereas if I just speak normally, and I'm not doing it on purpose, just kind of comes out. But it's better than sound like a posh wanker, isn't it? So, there is that.
Yes, mate. Yes. So, how's your weekend been? How was your birthday?
It was great. It was, I'd say, the best birthday I've had, which normally doesn't happen as you get older. But, you know.
And you are now 20. So I have 2 kids in their 20s. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, lucky. Unlucky, mate.
Anyway, shall we talk Tottenham?
Let's talk Tottenham, especially after that result yesterday. I mean, it was a bit of in fact, my birthday would have been perfect if we actually, took our chances, took care of the dominance, but we did the same thing against Leicester.
We will get into that, mate. We will get into it. Don't worry. So let's start, because obviously we haven't really spoken for a couple of weeks properly.
No.
And since we've spoken, the transfer window has shut. Are you happy with our incomings and outgoings?
I wouldn't say happy. I'd more say content is the word. I'm more content with it. I'm not blown away, but I'm not really disappointed. It could have been worse. I feel like some transfers we've been a lot poorer, and I was really worrying we do one of those. Do you remember when we panicked by Sissoko and stuff something like that? We didn't. I'm glad that the people we went to buy were, I would say, they were research signings. We took our time with them, which means I think ultimately they might be better than, for example, just going out because you were saying, a lot of people probably saying, let's go get centre half on deadline day. And I think that might have been a mistake. So I'm glad personally we didn't do that. So I'm personally content. It's a 6.5 out of 10 transfer window in my eyes. Could be worse. Fair. It could be a lot better.
I will go slightly more negative than that, as you probably would expect. Here we go. I think we had a great window as far as outgoings. As far as incomings, it's been shocking, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a good word.
I don't see anyone that we brought in that takes us to the next level.
No,
realistically,
I do agree with you.
One player's come in that starts, and that's Solanke. Yeah, just over Richarlison, and that could change as the season goes on. Other than that, Gray and Bergvall are highly rated youngsters, but this is my concern. It's because we were after a midfielder all summer. Apparently, allegedly, that was the rumor that we wanted a midfielder. Yeah. And then a week or two before the season starts or the window shuts, suddenly we are happy with our midfield options because Bergvall and Gray have impressed so much in pre-season. Yet, neither of them have started a game yet for Spurs. 3 games in. And granted, we're only 3 games in, but if they've impressed that much, why have we not seen either of them?
I think this is a good point I'm about to make. Last season, we started really well. 10 games in, 8 wins, 2 draws. We were very, very good start last season. Got a bit lucky against Liverpool. Yeah. Rode a bit there. But we started really, really well. We played really good football. 8 wins, 2 draws in the first 10 games. Then the Chelsea game happened. We got injuries. we had obviously Madison go out, Van der Ven go out, Odegaard got sent off, Romero got sent off. We had injuries all over the shop. Now, I think, obviously, there have been no signings that have taken us to the next level. I agree with you on that. It's true. But the signings we've made mean that when we get injuries like that again this season, which will probably happen, there'll probably be a game like Chelsea where we'll get like Romero just 2 foot some twat in the neck and get banned for 6 games. You got Madison will snap his ankle in half again. Sonny will probably break his arm again. Like, it's going to happen. But this season, we have more depth to fall back on. And I think that's the positive way to look at it for the transfer window. I get what you're saying. We've made no signings that have taken us to the next level. Go on, you want to say something? Go on.
I don't see that we have more depth. I don't see that we have more depth.
Really. Why don't you see we have more depth? I want to challenge.
Well, we've let 16 players go. 16 players go. What, 15 actually, because Reguilon didn't leave. Most of them, if not all of them, had to go. Agreed, 100%.
Remind me who left. Sorry.
Oh, don't ask me that. But it's about 15 or 60. And agreed, probably 3 or 4 of them are youngsters. 3 or 4 of them are youngsters that have gone out on loan. But if you're looking for the midfield alone, but okay, so we've lost Højbjerg and we've lost Skip. Now, I'm not saying they're good enough, but Højbjerg's got over 80 caps for Denmark. He's played 300 odd games for Spurs, or Premier League games for Southampton as well. Skip has played 100 times for Spurs. So whereas they're not taking us to the next level and they're not good enough, they could do some sort of job. For me, we are relying so much. If a Bentancur gets injured, if Basuma gets injured or suspended, we are then relying on youngsters to come in and hit the ground running, which is a concern.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should have gone out and spent loads, just get someone experienced, and a Locatelli would have been perfect.
I do agree with you in saying that we will be relying on youngsters. That's always kind of been what Tottenham have done. That's been quite like in 2013, 14, when, Kane came through, and then we were relying on him in 2014, 15. Like, it's always been, and when we signed Son, he was what, 21, 20? Something like that. He was young. It's always been the Tottenham way. I feel like they're gambling. It's a big gamble signing these young players, but they must see something in them. Like Archie Gray, for one, right? You just see the way Leeds fans talk about it. Like, they talk about it like it's their own son, like how he was in the Championship last season. I'm not going to say he's going to run bracket in the Premier League. He's not going to, score get 20 goal contributions, but we've signed good players. It's not like that. What I'm saying is they wouldn't look out. You're saying we've lost Højbjerg, who he was a lovely guy, but he was.
I need to challenge you on Gray in a sec, but go on, do it now. Go on, let's hear it. Okay, my issue with Gray is, and I've not seen too much of him, and in pre-season he looks good on the ball. He looks comfortable. He's got some skill. I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means, but when you said the way the Leeds fans talk about him, I get it, but there's a reason why they talk about him so highly. It's because he's a Gray, and he's part of the Gray family. You're going to have to quote me on this. Don't know whether it's his dad or his uncle played for Leeds, was like a massive Leeds player. So Gray, as far as the Leeds fan, it's like in 20 years, Harry Kane's son coming through and playing for Spurs. It's like Kane. He's one of our own. We love him. So the reason Gray is loved so much by Leeds fans is because he's got family that have played for Leeds, and it's a big name in Leeds history.
But I don't think. Why did he play nearly every Championship game last season then?
Yeah, I'm not saying
that's
he's not
just because he's part of the Gray family. I genuinely think he's a very top player, and I know Bergbaum was. I mean, he was mediocre when he came on against us and nearly gave a goal away. And Vigara don't really like him for that. Thought that was a bit harsh, personally, by him. I mean, it's his first game ever in the Premier League. He makes one mistake and Vicario shouts at him. Some people see that as like, tough love. But
I like
imagine you're that kid. He's 18 years old. He's never played in England. And you've got Vicario, who could barely claim a corner, shouting at him like he's shatting his cereal. I thought he'd bang out of order, but I think that's the young mind coming through. We're different in terms of.
No, I kind of agree with you on that. I kind of agree. I think, I don't see him doing that to more senior players like Romero.
He would never do Romero.
Or Porro. And believe me, they need more of a bollocking than most. And in fact, I think I can't remember who passed to him that night. I don't know whether it's Romero or.
I'm pretty sure
I think Romero. It was actually Romero who kind of put Bergvall in a bit of trouble.
Hospital pass.
But no, I like Bergvall and I like Gray. I just think we needed more. I definitely think we needed cover at centre half. We got Van der Ven out now, and that was the reason we lost yesterday. That was the main reason we lost yesterday. But we will get into that.
I do like Dragishin. He's just a little bit. Oh, what's the word? He's a bit too much like a warrior. He's like Romero, but on steroids a bit. He just goes for it. He's going to give away some penalties, a few penalties this year if he plays up. He's going to give away quite a few.
I actually thought Dragishin played well.
He does.
The problem is we play with such a high line, we haven't got the pace.
I am a fan. I said I am a fan of him. I just think he will. He's rash. He's a rash defender. He will dive in and he's going to kill someone. He will. He will. And I do love it in a way, but also that tackle on Iceland. I mean, on another day, that's a penalty. But
yeah, I thought that was a penalty, to be honest. But
yeah, I thought it was a penalty as well. But it doesn't matter anyway in the end. But I think that's a good point to make. When we play a high line, we play a high line, and we got Dragishin back there. He's going to struggle, not as quick, and he will dive in. And I feel like this year we're going to concede maybe more goals than last year. I think personally, because you are right, we have lost a bit of. I think we've lost more defensive prowess, just a little bit, because we've got rid of Højbjerg and Skip as well.
Yeah,
like those two, they played. They were like rotation players. They would play like every now and again. Started a few games.
Like I say, they're not anywhere near good enough, but they could come in for the odd game and kind of do a job. Whereas I just think there's a lot of pressure to be putting on younger players. Anyway, so with that, we've obviously talked about depth and whether we think we have enough. So what is your best team? What would you be looking at as a best team for Spurs?
What the best team
currently
without any injuries? No injuries. Just not taking
without any injuries
because that's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, for Kyrie and net, obviously. I mean, I do like, I feel Whiteman. He's a nice lad, but that's good for him. Vicario is injured. It's going to be we have an interesting second choice. Might need a second choice keeper soon, but moving on. He won't get it. He'll be fine. And then obviously left back. I think the back four kind of speaks for itself. Erdegy, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro. That's the back four which we're used to, and a back four under Ange, which works well. Two attacking fullbacks. Exciting. We will concede goals that back four. It's not. We will concede goals, but we also get a lot of it. Romero's good from corners. Van der Ven's very good at making that sweeping run in behind defenses to just clear out. He's a good sweeper. Because he's so bloody quick. And then that same back four, fine. That works fine. And then, all right, you go three in midfield. Basuma played really well against Everton. And I think he should play in there. See Madison. Madison's been a little bit. He's been all right, but he's not set the world alight yet. But I think he will come into his own. Just needs to get back into it. He is that type of player that can turn on any time, can turn the key. And then So I do find it difficult with this next enemy because I really like Archer Gray. I do feel like he should start some games, but I'm not going to say him. I'm going to say Pookie, Happy Matasar. What a cutie! He's got to be in there. He's just lovable, isn't he? He just is a lovable guy, and I think that kind of helps him getting in the team, getting into my team.
He's in your team. He's definitely not in mine.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have this unbridled loyalty to him, and then obviously Sonny on the left. He got on the right though. It doesn't really matter. Solanke down the middle, and then on the right, I would go with Kulusevski over Odobert. Now that is controversial. I don't care. I think Kulu still offers something, and I think Odobert's good off the bench. Good as an impact sub. He's that type of player. He reminds me a bit. Remember Dan Juma? He reminds me a bit of him. The way he plays reminds me a little bit of him.
Yeah.
When we had him for just like a bit, it's so random. We barely had him for
anything. Signing, wasn't it?
Pointless. But when he played, he was actually quite good. I think he's just never fit.
I quite liked him, but he was. Yeah, it was a pointless. So we make a lot of those pointless signings. And and I get we haven't done that this summer. We haven't made a pointless signing at the last minute just to bring someone in on loan. I mean, Werner was a pointless signing, but yeah, my 11's not that much different to yours, to be honest. I would go with the same 5. I would have Basuma and Maddison in midfield, and I would go for Bentancur. And then Sonny, Solanke, and Kulu.
Yeah, so you're only swapping out Bentancur for Sarr. That's fine. That makes sense. I've always liked Sarr. I don't know what it is. It's just he runs around.
I think he's got legs. He runs around. Yeah, he runs brilliant. Is that what we need as a Tottenham midfield? Someone who runs around. He's got legs. Brilliant. Stick him in.
No, it's not that. He's just like he just works his bollocks off every time. He does. And I think it's good when you have a really athletic centre midfielder. Box to box, up and down all game. When you're playing in an Ange system and they're running around pressing and attacking every 2 seconds, I think it's good to have someone like that. And next to him, he's got Basuma, who's really good on the ball as well. Can be a bit rash, but hopefully after a NOS incident, he's calmed down a bit. And then Maddison, who can just put the ball on a sixpence. You know, I think that's a nice midfield. I wouldn't say it's necessarily balanced. I think in a perfect world, we go and get a really good number 6 and he'd replace Sarr, but we don't have that, so we can't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
In a perfect world, we'd have a really good number 6 on level with like the Rodris and the Rices. Put him in there. That is a great team. So yeah, if you're going to ask me what we need for January, we need a bloody good number 6, and then I think the team's actually all right. But we don't.
But obviously Ange doesn't play with a 6 apparently. Okay, so here's a question about Ange. Do you think Ange's tactics get the best out of the players?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Mostly, I think it does. I think if you look over, and I'm just comparing this onto like how we did before Ange. Our team before Ange wasn't that different. We obviously didn't have Vicario, we didn't have Van der Ven or Erdogan. We had Porro, we have Romero, you know. I mean, it's fairly different thinking about it now. I'm listening to the players, but half our team is different thinking about it, actually. But with that team, which is debatably better because we had Kane, you know, we had Kane in that team. As we had, bloody hell, else we have. I'm trying to think about a team before Ange. I can't even remember it. It was so far away, but it really
wasn't that much different, really. I mean, we had Kulu on the right, we had Kane, we had Sonny, we had Basuma in midfield, and Bentancur and Højbjerg.
Not a lot of creativity in that.
Yeah, defensively we were shocking because we had players like Sessegnon, who was always injured, and Reguilon and
well, we don't have Reguilon in
Sanchez. No, but we didn't have a doggy either. So Davis would probably play left back.
We only played
And
3, didn't we? Quite a lot.
we had Dyer and Sanchez, Tanganga, Beauty
I
that is
always thought
Emerson
Tanganga was
Royale.
actually that bad. I always thought he was all right. But
I think
compare that team, right? And that points tally, finished 8th. I don't know what points got from 59, 58 points. Compare that to Angie's team first season. First of all, finished 5th, which is respectable. Some people got annoyed about it, but I was like, compare it to last season. We were really bad last season, nowhere near a trophy either. And finished 8th. And then we finished 5th last season, sorry. The team's improved. And like I said, not a lot of the players have changed, really. There obviously are new ones, but the vast majority, we've had loads of outgoings, but a lot of the outgoings didn't really start. I think he gets the best out of most of the players which he plays with, especially Porro. Porro is a new breed under Ange. Absolute new breed.
Let's say Porro is probably the only one that has got better under Ange. I think, and this is the thing.
Sonny?
We just go. You think Sonny's got better? I think he's got worse.
I don't think he's got worse. Look at the numbers he puts up every season. Look at the numbers he put up last season.
Yeah, if we're just going by numbers alone, but if we're going at watching with the eye, he's not as good. Okay, yeah, possibly you could say Richarlison.
I think
if you're looking at numbers.
Yeah, but numbers are important, Dad. The numbers are, when you're an attacker, the number of goals you get are fucking important. If you look at it, sorry for swearing. No, you don't like me doing that.
That's fine.
But they are important.
No, yes, I get it. Yes. And and the thing is, stats are stats, and people can look at stats in different ways, and people can use numbers when it suits them to spill a narrative, whichever way they want. And if you look at numbers, then Johnson had an okay season last season. He's still not the player I want him to be. And Sonny, as far as numbers goes, yes, he did all right. I don't think he's improved under Ange. I think he was.
I think
Sonny's been consistently good for 10 years, 10 years. So
I think a lot of it, I was going to say,
go on,
is Sonny may look perceived worse because he doesn't have Kane next to him anymore, and that was a big thing, wasn't it? I mean, those two worked together like pie and gravy, like it was perfect, and like so him going probably affected Sonny a little bit because they just play off each other. Kane would just lumber into the edge of our box and just launch a long ball over the top. Sonny would just be there. Like, he doesn't have that anymore, so he's not necessarily going to get as many chances or goals as he would when Kane was there.
Yeah, but let's get back into. I agree with you 100%. Let's get back into, because you said something interesting a minute ago, which sparked my interest a little bit, and that was you started going on about, the team was different, so much different than what it was. Think of the team back then, and you actually looked at the team and you thought about it, and you were like, actually, it's not really that different. Who's different? You got Vicario, you got Van der Ven. A doggy had already been signed, so he was already a player just coming back.
He didn't play.
And you've got Sarr had played a little bit, so you've got Van der Ven and Vicario, and then you've got Maddison in midfield, and you've got Solanke. And if we're going that, is that we've just said our best teams, only those 4 players get in it that Ange just signed. 4 players, and Ange just signed something like 16, 17 players. Might even be 80. I don't know exactly, but it's about 16 players Ange just signed.
Not that many.
And and only 4 get in the first team.
Yeah, but you got to remember what the signs Ange made. I mean, are you counting the guy from South Korea? Because that's off the table.
No, well, effectively we've signed him. He's not come in yet. But what I'm saying is, out of all those players that he signed, we've improved the first team with 4 players. I mean, if Johnson starts, you could say 5 players. It's not enough, is it?
No, when you put it like that, I think it's a good manager. You've got to give him time. I think he's a good manager. I'm not concerned at all about his tactics around just like viewing how we play football. I feel like we give him as much time as he needs. Obviously, within reason. If we finish like 8th this season, then like 12th the next, then obviously, honestly, if Ange wins a trophy this season, he won't get sacked for about 3 years. That's all he has to do. If he wins a trophy, he's sound. All he has to do, he just has to nick a Carabao Cup, and he's done. That's all he has to do.
I just don't see it. I'd love us to win a cup. I think we should be going all out in the cups, but I don't see it. And you said you're not concerned by Ange's. I'm flip flopping, mate. I'm flip flopping. What I've seen so far this season, I know. I want us to win a cup. I want us to go all out in the cups. And yes, I did say we win the Carabao Cup. So okay, I'll stick with it. We are going to win the Carabao Cup, maybe if we get past Coventry. If we get past Coventry, but you did just say a minute ago that you were happy with Ange's tactics. So you're happy with the way we're playing.
I mean, I'm looking at the 3 performances over the last 3 games, and not one of them has been, oh, fucking what are we doing here? Shocking. I know the 3 teams we played Leicester away. And Leicester away, although it's on paper an easier game because Leicester aren't, on paper we're going to batter them. But it's their first game back after getting relegated. They're back in the Premier League. It's always going to be it's not going to be an easy game. We should have battered them. We missed like 4 or 5 easy chances. We should have about 3-0 up at half time at least. If we took our chances, we would have won that game. Everton, we actually took our chances. That's a change. 1-4-0. Absolutely blew them away. Could have been more, to be honest. Newcastle, we were crap for the first 10 minutes. Started playing much better. Controlled the ball. Controlled the game. Harvey Barnes scores. It was a good goal. I'll give him that. 1-0. Our goal was a bit, just a little bit like, but
it was coming, wasn't it? We're putting pressure on.
Yeah. My point is the first 3 games we've played, our performances have been meritable. They've been good. We've not had one bad performance yet. You look at other teams. Look at United yesterday against Liverpool. My point is we wouldn't do that. And I don't see us doing that. I think at the moment we have a team which is putting out good performances. And if you keep putting good performances in, results will come. Well, I mean, I think it's made a good test. We got a perfect test next game against Arsenal. We got a perfect test. That is a big bloody game.
You can't watch Spurs over the last 3 games and be like, oh, we are so bad. Like you say, you look at United and you're like, oh, they've not changed. They're still crap. I look at Spurs and I'm like, we are playing some good stuff. We are creating. But, and this is my concern, is that it doesn't matter how much we dominate a game, we always give up easy chances. And we don't give up chances that are like, 50-50. We give up easy chances. So we are always going to concede. And my concern is, no matter how much possession we have, no matter how many chances we create, we haven't got the quality in the final third to take them. And I don't think we've improved enough. But saying that, Solanke's got to come in. You can't judge him on one game of football when he was booted in the first 20 minutes and played on with an injury. I don't think we can really look too much into Solanke. When he comes in, maybe the results will start improving, hopefully. But that is my concern. Is that no matter how much possession we have, no matter how many things we create, we still get punished every game.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like a lot of it maybe is down to, I mean, you look at the games we played, Newcastle have got Isak up top, who's quality. And Leicester have Vardy, who's aged like, aged like fine wine. Everton don't have anybody, obviously, because Everton, they're a bit shit. But I feel like we've missed out on, a top centre forward to lead the line. Obviously, Solanke's still out, Richarlison's still out. That is going to make us struggle in the first 3 games. But all I'm saying is, in the first 3 games, we've played well, and we've been unlucky. On another 3 games, we could have gone in with 9 points. Now the big test is against Arsenal. If we can manage to beat them or even get a result, I don't feel like we will, because it's Arsenal and they're going to batter us. I mean, without Rice, they have got Partey, right? Who's not as good.
Jorginho can come in.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Jorginho. I'm not worried about him. I mean, Partey should be in prison, but it's not the point. But did you hear about that?
Let's stick to football.
All right, sorry.
You can tell me after.
Really bad.
But yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, getting on to Arsenal, I think, it's early in the season, so both teams haven't really got any form as such. That we're, both teams are still feeling the way into the season. So it's probably a really good time to play them. Hopefully Solanke will be back. Hopefully Richarlison will be back. Probably not.
The break's good.
Hopefully Van der Ven will be back. So yeah, I'm confident we could get something. My concern is if we don't, the pressure will really heap onto Ange, because fans are starting to turn a little. Not happy with the tactics. I'm not happy with the high line. Like yesterday against Newcastle, Van der Ven's out. Fine. Drop 10 yards. Just drop 10 yards for one game.
Yeah.
While Van der Ven's out, and that second goal doesn't happen.
I do agree. It's always taking a chance when you play that high of a line, especially with our defenders. It's fine with Van der Ven's there because he can just run for days. But even when he's there, it's just risking an injury every time. I just don't think it's worth it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I do agree with you
every
on that.
time he runs back.
The high line is, every time he runs back, you think he's gonna pull up.
Yeah.
Like every time.
It's like, you're like, oh, when he clears it or when he gets it and just pass it away, you're like, oh, thank God for that. Every single time.
Ever since he did it against Chelsea, it's just been nerve-wracking. But yeah, I agree. We should be playing less of a high line when we don't have Van der Ven. But Ange seems to be stubborn. He does. And that is a bad thing sometimes. But when Van der Ven's back, we'll be fine. But yeah, it's a bloody nightmare, isn't it? It's just Tottenham. Just can't defend.
Yeah, and this is the thing. How long's Van der Ven going to be out for? If he's back, how long is it going to be before he's injured again? Because he had 2 injuries last season. I know this isn't a hamstring. This is quad, apparently, that's keeping him out. And this is, again, goes back to my worry that we should have signed a left-sided centre-back to cover. But it is what it is. We haven't. And yeah, so finally, before we call it a day, what are your thoughts so far on the season? Are you happy? Is there anything you change? And what can you see going forward?
I feel like first 3 games we performed well. I have said that loads of times. Like I've said that for ages, to be honest. It's a very similar start to a normal Tottenham season, which is getting a bit boring, I will admit. I do feel like we won't get a result against Arsenal, but I bloody want to. But with their team, I don't see it happening. And with our team, it's the thing. If we don't get Van der Ven back, we're losing that game. I generally think that. Van der Ven's back, we could draw it easily or even win it.
So if someone said to you now, I'll give you a point, would you take it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. Actually, maybe not, because Rice is out.
I don't think it makes a massive difference, does it? Not a huge difference.
I think it does. Rice is a very important player in that team. Obviously they can replace him with other players, but I mean, the only 2 players they can replace him is Partey and Jorginho, and they're not anywhere near his level. They're nowhere near his level. And with him out, it does destabilise them. Just look, you saw him against Brighton. I know they were down 10 men. They should have lost the game. They got battered last when
it does level the playing field a little bit more. Gives us more of a chance, but I don't think we can be relying on that. Because we've had that situation before where something's happened and we'll be like, oh, we're going to win this easy, and then we've ended up screwing up. But
I mean, last North London derby was just interesting. Is all I'm going to say. It was a very, very interesting game. It's just, I don't know how we lost.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, no, the good thing about this season is, and it's the fact that we are actually starting games where we're attacking, we're in teams' faces. We're not, how many times if we watch Spurs and they don't start playing until the second half. First half we've had like one shot on goal or something. So it's nice that we're actually going at teams now. And I do think, if we keep playing like we are going to win more games than we lose. It's just so frustrating when we dominate games so much, like we have. All three of the games we've dominated so far this season, yet we've only won one of them.
I guess that is the frustrating part. But, I mean, what can you do? Football is, you can't, I feel like sometimes we overanalyze football too much. All about moments. In those games, we've had so many moments where we could go and win the game. And it just hasn't happened for us. And that's okay. It happens. Arsenal, they might absolutely batter us. And we come away with like a 2-1 win, sun deflection goal in the last minute. And we're just like, oh, Ange's amazing. Even though we played terribly, we got absolutely dominated. And we win the game. It's all about moments. And I feel like we just haven't had a lot yet. Everton, we absolutely dominated. It could have been even more. So we made sure of that. And Everton are just crap, to be honest. But I felt a lot of it's just moments. A lot of it is. So you can't.
I feel like when.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
No,
I was going to say people criticize Ange for his high line. Obviously, he's dangerous when you got lightning bolt at the back, But like, ignoring that, we battered Newcastle when they're in their home ground, right? Controlled the ball for the whole time. Had a few chances. Shouldn't have lost the game. Should have at least got a point. We didn't. We lost the game. But it's an improvement from last time we went there. We lost 4-0 last time. And we lost 6-1 the time before. I know we lost again, but we shouldn't have lost. And you should take some merit in that. You should take some, and especially against Leicester as well, which we were dominant against. Threw away a goal and then they come back into it. And that was always going to happen. Like, once they score, they'll be on top for a bit. That's just how football works. That's always how it's been. But my point is, against Arsenal, as long as we play well, I feel like you can't really get on Ange's back. So I don't get why people do. I get the high line is a problem, but we've played well in these last 3 games and we haven't got perfect results. But my point is, it's all about results in people's minds. If we played crap in all 3, like remember when Nuno, he played the first 3 games, we were diabolical in most of those games, but we won all 3 of them. And everyone's like, hey, Nuno's great. He wasn't. He was terrible. He didn't have a bloody clue. It was so boring, but he just got away with it in all 3 of his games. He got lucky, relied on moments, got him through it. And 3 out of 3 games they won. Result. This time's a bit different, but we still perform well. So that's the refreshing thing. Sorry, I waffled a bit there. Go on.
It's fine. I like the waffle. But no, performances are good. It is a results business, but as long as you're seeing shoots of green, we're seeing we're seeing something that could happen. We're seeing some excitement. We're seeing the football that we want to play. Hopefully, in time, those chances, those final balls. I think that the frustrating thing for me against Newcastle was how many times we got into really good positions. I don't know whether you saw much of the game, but we pressed so aggressively and we caught them in possession about 3 or 4 times, and we're literally 3-on-2, 4-on-3. And another day, we could have scored 3 or 4, but the final ball
Yeah.
was awful. Hopefully, we can get that sorted, and the high line isn't as much of an issue if we scored 4 already. You know, if we play a
Yeah,
high
that's
line and
very
we're
true.
4-1 up and concede 1, it's not as much of an issue. It's all about taking the chances and taking those moments, like you say, that we get. And at the moment,
Yeah.
we're not doing that. And it's not always about the finishing, it's that final ball. If you look at the chances, it's not like we've created so many chances we should win. It's the areas we get into and then we make the wrong decision. But
Yeah.
hopefully that will come. Thank you for joining me again, son. It's been good to talk to
No
you.
worries. Be good talking to you
Hopefully I'll
too,
see
as
you.
always.
Hopefully I'll see you over the next couple of days.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be around. I'm working a bit, but that's how it goes.
I was going to come into Nando's the other day and grab something, but
Oh,
you're
that's a
working today.
chance. Yeah, I am.
Well, I might pop down for tea.
I'm in kitchen though, so
Well, can I not get discount?
no, you can't. I can't give you one.
Yeah.
They're really strict on it.
See, son works at
Nando's is
Nando's. You
terrible
can't get discount.
anyway.
What's the point? It is. You're right. It's for kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining me, son, and I will see you on the next episode of the Nige and Chonk Show. Hopefully, we will have a North London derby win to talk about.
Oh God.
And no negatives.
There's going to be some negatives with you around.
I am Mr. Negative. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We will see you on the next show. Take care.